Hello, beautiful people. We've got the wonderful Jennifer Doran here, who's going to do an interesting channeling, one that's a little bit different than what we've done before. So it's going to be beautiful and interesting. So if you want to know about her, it's going to be on the screen, but also in the text below. And I'm hoping that because of this kind of darker channeling, that Erik is going to help us a little bit. Okay.
Absolutely. I already told him he had to.
Yeah. So
Like, you have to come for this one.
Randy Stair is a mass shooter. I'm going to read his background, but and we found out in his journal that he asked channeling Erik to channel him after he died. All right, so here we go. Randy Stair, who went by the name Andrew Blaze online, was a YouTuber with a fairly big audience. His channel started out funny and entertaining, but his subscribers would watch him take a steep decline in his mental health and his grasp on reality. Wow. It was clear he was struggling as he talked about his idolization of the Columbine shooters and his obsession, fascination, love, and desire to be a cartoon character. And then he would go on to document his plan to commit mass murder. Why didn't somebody speak up? Anyway, he was practically begging for someone to stop him, but strangely enough, his subscribers didn't do anything to help or maybe even try to prevent that massacre that was about to happen. In the early hours on the morning of June 8th, 2017, employees at a Weis Market, W-E-I-S Markets supermarket in Eaton Township, Pennsylvania, United States, they were stocking and closing the store for the night. Shortly after 1 a.m., 24-year-old Randy Stair barricaded the exits of the store and proceeded to shoot and kill three of his coworkers before fatally shooting himself. Hi, Erik. I forgot to say I love you, and I'm so glad you're helping here.
Yes, I love you too. Oh, I do feel when I tap into some of the darker stuff, I start to feel nauseous. So I
Oh,
apologize if I'm making yucky faces. This is
oh, I'm
why.
sorry.
No. It's fine. It'll subside.
Yeah, it'll be okay. Erik, you just help her. Help her physically too, okay, and
Mhm.
emotionally. Here are the questions. Randy, are you okay with us asking you questions? And this was your
Yes,
desire.
absolutely. And I do have Erik and then like Randy. And for me right now, it's like as if we're gonna ask Erik, Erik's gonna ask Randy, and we'll kind of
Okay.
filter the information. But Randy is right here.
Okay, good.
Um,
What do you sense in him? Does he still have that dark energy, or now that he's passed,
no,
it's different?
no, he definitely doesn't still have that dark energy. For me, sometimes when somebody comes in that did something here that wasn't so wonderful, they ease in for me instead of boom coming right in. I
Yeah.
feel like this is more what's happening. As you were reading that, he was definitely, I was getting that he was schizophrenic or something like this had happened. And really, you know, a lot of times Erik says stuff like this, there is something in the contract someplace.
Of course. And I'm
And
sure there's
so,
in there.
yeah. And,
Yeah.
and this is really the main reason that nobody really did anything. I do, he was saying that some people did like call the authorities and kind of pointed out to people, but nothing like went beyond that necessarily to
Right.
actually stop this because it was in the contract.
Oh, because yeah. All right. The first question from these are all from the community. You had an online presence where you often were discussing violence and death. How come you went unnoticed?
Well, he said I didn't go unnoticed, but what happened is a lot of the times the people who stayed had a darker side to them too, and other people just left. Just left the site.
Yeah.
A lot of people didn't think I was as serious as I was.
Were some of them
Um,
hoping to witness something horrible?
some of them were absolutely hoping to witness something horrible. Yes. Yep.
Horrible.
Yeah, this is like dark web stuff that was on like kind of more mainstream. Because even like YouTube, he's saying, even YouTube didn't catch it. And, we know YouTube catches stuff and pulls stuff down all the
I know.
time. And it
It's a
wasn't,
contract.
yeah, some of his stuff that really should have been pulled within an hour of being up wasn't.
Okay. What were your parents thinking about you? And what kind of relationship did you have with them?
So it, it honestly, he said it really wasn't, like as bad as what you might think, there was parents, right? You were
Oh
saying
yeah,
parents.
right, right.
But it's like water and oil is what he's
Okay.
saying. So really more of a just like not feeling understood, not feeling like connected, but I don't really feel like there was a whole lot of horrible abuse,
Oh, okay.
or unless he's just hiding it from me.
Did they
Um,
show love to you, Randy?
I do feel like there was love in his childhood, is
Okay.
what he was saying. It's just that he always, well, almost always felt like uh, I don't know, like out of place.
No.
And
Yeah.
so the whole YouTube world, and I guess the wanting to be this cartoon, it was part of the delusion of not really feeling like, for him, this is what he's saying. Like the reason he was able to do what he did is because he didn't really feel like connected. Like this really did feel like a video game to him.
Oh,
Like
wow.
a, yes, like it wasn't, none of it was real, none of it quite connected for him.
Yeah. But did your parents, what did they do when you started going dark and showing signs of mental illness? Did they get you help?
There is this feeling of like kind of panicking, worrying, not really knowing what to do. Although he is saying his parents didn't really know nearly the level to which, because
Yeah.
he was still good at hiding it at work with his family.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was good at hiding. It's like these two lives. I don't know, maybe there's like some sociopathic. What's the one where you can pretend?
Right.
Like,
Right.
like you can fake the emotions and
Hide
fake
your
the
darkness. Oh,
actions.
yeah,
Yeah.
sure. So he did that with his family.
Yes. Yeah, there's a lot of that energy.
Were you on the spectrum, do you think?
Yes. Yeah, he said yes.
Well, so what caused your mental health to suddenly decline? Just development of schizophrenia?
That kind of like yeah, the schizophrenia, I feel like a lot of times, especially with the male energy, that early 20s.
That is so true. Like
I
Eric started developing mental illness, like, well, a little earlier than that, his late teens.
Yeah, well, and I feel like for him too, it wasn't like a overnight boom. It was like a
Gradual.
gradual thing to get to where he got to,
Okay.
you know.
Um, so there was nothing that triggered it really. It was just that's how
Just
the
like
behavior works.
hormones and just like that
Yeah.
sort of thing. It does feel like it was always going to happen. I mean, honestly, there's probably a history of either paranoia or schizophrenia or something
Oh yeah.
um, in the families. Is he saying that there was other people further up that had issues? He also came back in really quickly from the life right before this one.
Okay.
So I have found a lot of times, and Eric's kind of like nodding his head, like a lot of times when somebody comes in that quickly, it's that life isn't a long one.
Oh, oh yeah.
Not always, but a
Yeah,
lot
of
of times
course.
it's not
I know
very.
that to be the truth. Now, how did you find channeling Eric and you wanted us to,
YouTube, it came across on YouTube to him.
okay. Knowing what you were going to do, did you know you were going to take your own life also?
Yes, that was always part of his plan,
Was
is
this
what he
like a
was telling me.
random thing? You decided, woke up one morning and wanted to do it, or was there a lot of planning involved?
There's a plan. He said I had a plan. I had a plan. Although it's it's funny, I don't know exactly what he was expecting to accomplish here because
Yeah,
it feels very delusional to me as I'm kind of
yeah,
in it. And
all
I
mixed
don't,
up.
yeah, I don't even feel like I hated because it's coworkers, right? It's at his work, it's
Right.
coworkers. I don't even feel like he hated them. It's again, it's this
Video game.
disconnect yeah, this disconnect from the reality of what was actually going on.
Mhm. When you shot them, did you realize, oh my God, what have I done? That poor.
No, no.
What was your purpose here on Earth? And then this is probably about the
This
con.
was a big part of his contract. One of the, the purpose is always kind of a funny question because anytime any of us come, our purpose is to grow our soul and to help others grow their soul, to learn, to evolve. This is the purpose for him. to come in and experience this level of mental illness was part of it. You know, if we say on the other side when we're planning a life, when we're planning our life, this is Eric talking. Um, Planning our death is also part of that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That planning a death by murder is a choice that we can make when we come into a life. And so if we say, hey, this next life, I'm going to experience being murdered, somebody has to be the one that agrees to murder
Right.
us.
Exactly.
Like it
The
has to,
co-workers probably had that plan too. Their spiritual purpose
yes.
was to get murdered.
Yes.
What
So,
do you achieve at that with that? Go ahead.
um, so, so this is like with murder in particular, so there could be something to learn about the fear the moments before, but a lot of time what it is the people that we leave behind that love us,
Yeah.
like dealing with a loved one being murdered, whether the murder was solved or unsolved, or there's a lot of it left for the people behind to learn from. It's interesting because Randy?
Randy, yeah.
Okay. He was saying that two of the people, it was in his contract, it was in their contract to die right there,
Right.
by his hands. But there was a bit of a free will energy for the last one.
Mm,
Although it's like there's this got male energy. I don't really know who the victims are,
yeah.
but there's a male there that was going to be murdered, but there was like maybe at a later date, but it just happened that it was right there. So there was free
Interesting.
will for one of them
Okay.
that could have stayed
Mm.
longer, is how he's putting it.
Okay. So how can American gun laws change to stop these mass shootings?
Oh boy, this is this again. This is
And they
Eric.
use machetes and knives, that's where,
Yeah, this is a complex thing, and
yeah.
I don't have any. I'm not putting any of my personal stuff in this.
Right.
Um, the laws do need to be changed. I don't know what the laws are.
I don't
I'm
either.
not personally a gun owner.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know the laws, but um, I don't know. Even from Eric, it's
Difficult.
multiple steps.
Yeah.
Yes.
Of course. Yeah. I'm sure there's like no automatic or
No.
semi-automatic.
Yeah, I mean yeah, those kind of things, getting rid of those. But it's
Psych, psych
whole
eval. Yeah.
yeah. That's
Has
a
the
whole
psych
thing.
eval. I know. You could make a person pass the psychological before buying a gun, psychological test, but then they'll take it from their parents and shoot at people.
Yeah.
It's very difficult.
Yep.
What is it about the American psyche that keeps perpetuating these crimes, Eric? Eric, this is probably for you. But Randy, you can chip in,
Yeah.
chime in.
So there is like a bigger picture thing Eric is saying with this. Like there is like a big lesson here for I guess, I mean, it's for the world, but really America is the one that has the biggest problem with this as far as I
Yeah.
know. And so it's like there is something here for us to learn about. Okay, freedom's great, but there has to be some some regulation on things, and
With great freedom comes great responsibility.
yes,
That's
yeah.
it.
And please, I'm not saying everybody should give up their guns. Please, I don't
No,
don't come
no,
at
no, no,
me
no, no,
with
no.
any of this stuff. But yeah, some psych evaluations. But America is one of the more free places in
Yeah,
the world, and so this is definitely, there's the checks and balances that needs to be looked at here.
right.
Trying to tiptoe. I just don't, I don't
I
want
know. It's very uncomfortable. All right, next question. Is there a theme that you keep going through many lives, trying to learn from it? So is that what you're doing, Randy? Same thing over and over again each life, or it's just
No, no, he said no, it's not. He said he has had lifetimes before where he was mentally ill, but he hasn't ever done anything in a life like this before.
okay?
So no, this is just an aspect of this particular life.
Do you think you learned the lesson you came here to learn? And if so, what was that?
Yeah. So it's really hard because this was in his contract. So,
Yeah,
reaching out and getting help that wasn't gonna happen
yeah,
here
right.
in this particular situation. Um, so actually what he's saying is that there was something about compassion for him to be
Okay.
learning in this
Oh,
lifetime. Although I feel like it's in the life review is where he sees it and learns it, not
okay. All
actually
right.
being here.
So that was a big one, compassion
Mm.
for others.
Yep.
Now, investigators say Randy's journals proved that he suffered excruciating feelings of isolation and loneliness that resulted in fatal obsessions. Current surveys show that EU countries with increased cultural differences and demographic shifts caused by political motivations have the world's highest levels of loneliness and resentment. This is long, among the citizens. What part did politically motivated demographic changes and cultural differences contribute to your isolations and feelings of severe loneliness?
No, he's saying this was more this it wasn't so much on a big scale. His
Yeah,
isolation and loneliness was on a
mental illness.
smaller.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
Are you a star seed? Because they sometimes feel very lonely.
It really no, I mean, yes, but he is a Sarsi, but that's not
Okay.
the
There's
role
not
that's
that
played
energy.
here. It really is that mental health, the delusional, this I it's I don't know if it's full on schizophrenic or if it's a certain type of schizophrenia because
Schizoaffective disorder, paranoid
he
schizophrenia.
he must have been very easily able to pretend when he needed to,
Okay.
is how he's putting it.
Wow.
He definitely had a little bit of off energy if
Okay.
somebody was very sensitive, like, hey, something's like a little bit off here, but he could pass pretty easily.
Oh, okay. What were your major fears or topics you didn't work on during this lifetime? Major
Major
fears.
fears, there really is like this anxiety, this panic about not fitting in, not just like
Or being lonely all the rest of
yes,
your
being
life.
lonely all the time, that not fitting in, not it's almost like this dystopia of like who I am and who I think I am.
Mm.
You know, when I guess like there's this, I don't know if he struggled in this area, but like looking in the mirror, like sometimes people are like, this isn't my arm,
Yeah, like
and
dissociation,
yeah, there's like this kind of energy, like who
dissociative
he was inside
personality.
was
Yeah.
not who he was outside at all.
So kind of like he's on the spectrum. He had schizophrenia or schizoaffective disorder and dissociative personality or
Mhm.
periods of dissociation. Wow.
Yeah, but I feel like there was at least this period of time where he was very sweet.
Oh,
I
really?
don't know if he was like real sweet when he was little or something.
Maybe.
Like I don't feel like
Were,
this mental
were
health was
you
there all the time.
were you sweet until what point in your life?
I do kind of feel like the young, 6, 7, 8. I feel like kind of
Yeah.
when hormones start to come in, maybe stuff starts to change.
Yeah. Okay.
Hormones definitely play a role in some of this stuff
Of
coming
course.
out.
Yeah. After your oh yeah, what was your life review like?
I really hate to say this, but a lot of what he actually accomplished in this life was what he was supposed to do.
Yeah.
So what he did was horrendous, but the life review, there wasn't a whole lot left unfinished
Okay.
for him.
Okay. After your life review, did you see any way to avoid what pain you caused to others? Probably not, because since it was a
No,
contract.
no, there wasn't. With the exception of maybe that one victim, had he spared that one victim,
Oh, yeah.
possibly. But again, whoever that was, that there was like that being dying by murder in the contract, but maybe it would
Later
have been
on.
possible. Yeah.
Wow. Do you feel any regret at all?
No, that's that whole other side thing. We don't leave here still feeling angry and regret and resentment and
Especially
you
if it
know,
was a
we
contract.
yeah, yeah,
They'll all agree to it,
yep,
except the third victim, but basically he was going to die by murder anyway.
yep. Hmm.
Are there separate kingdoms in heaven for murders like celestial, terrestrial, telestial? That
No,
means
no, I mean, murder very much can be part of the contract quite often. So if you're somebody who's please don't go around committing murders thinking it's in your contract
Yeah,
because you
really.
need free will too. But yes, if you are somebody who committed murder and went to the other side and it was in your contract to commit murder, that doesn't mean that you have devolved your soul necessarily.
Or even if it wasn't a contract, you're still in the same heaven everybody else is in, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's how
Okay.
it feels to me. Like, and I know that the people talk about, oh, the different dimensions, but Eric says, no, we all kind of, to me, we all mingle in with each other. We can tell who's like had more experiences and learned more lessons. But
Right.
it's not like all the ones are over here and all the twos are over here. It's not like a segregation thing.
Like in the lunchroom in the high school. Anyway, all dogs go to heaven, all murderers go to heaven. All right.
Yes.
Did you really feel trapped in your body, or was it like more attention seeking?
Oh
Like
no,
be
there's
a cartoon
definitely
character. You did not want to be a human.
there's something that feeling like of trapped in the body or in the wrong body or yes, there's definitely something of that nature.
Hmm.
That was not just attention seeking.
Have you reincarnated yet?
No.
Okay. What past life most influenced your one as Randy Starr, the mass shooter?
He's taking me to a life where he was I feel like I'm like having sorry. Like having to well, I feel like more like I'm in the Holocaust type of setting.
Okay.
I'm just taking people's lives, like, because I have, like,
Yeah.
have to.
Okay.
Um,
Because you had to, forced to.
yes,
Okay.
yep, yeah. But like, not like on the battlefield, like one on one, like,
In the
like,
camps, maybe?
yes, like something kind of yucky like this. But
Oh,
there's also a life where he's like working in a slaughterhouse.
I just knew that. I felt it so much. I must have channeled that. Wow.
Yeah. Oh, no, you definitely did. I've said this before. Anytime that I'm sitting with you, you are channeling information. Absolutely. Yeah.
So what does your heaven home look like, Randy? Oh,
Quiet,
quiet.
nature, kind of like a woods type of setting. Oddly enough, he kind of likes the quieter setting, even though isolation and loneliness
Oh, wow.
big thing
Interesting.
here. But lots of birds. I can hear lots of birds. And there are souls that he is around and goes and
Okay.
sees and stuff, but his home setting is I'm not living in a big city. I'm living in nature by the water, by the mountains, this kind of energy.
What about those you killed? Have you met and discussed the situation with
Yeah, because they had
them
met
about that?
before they came into this life anyways.
Yeah. So are y'all good?
So yeah, oh yeah, yes, of course.
Do you socialize with them still? Not at all, rather?
Yeah, I mean, like a little bit, not like best friends or anything like this,
Have
but
not.
at least one of them had actually murdered him in another life.
Oh, is that
So
the
some
third one?
people,
The one with the free will? Or
I
the
feel like this is a female energy.
female?
So they had experienced another life, and sometimes that's the case. We just playing the
Yeah.
other side of the coin, you know?
Okay. Has your suffering ended now that you're in the afterlife?
Yes.
How have things changed for you on the other side? Well, that's good.
Well, I mean, just like it does for any of us, we're kind of free of the heaviness of earth,
Happy?
that sort of energy. Yes, working, just because we're on the other side doesn't mean we're still not working on stuff.
Yeah, what are you doing
We,
then? What are you
we
working on?
yeah, so we still well he okay, so he's still I guess talking about working on like those lessons in isolation and loneliness, working on he does something to help people hear with mental health issues,
Oh,
kind of like as like a spirit guide, like pushing people to get help when they're not wanting to. So
okay.
he does do something like this. This feels like a more specialized type of spirit guide,
Are
you
you
know.
specifically trying to help prevent people from committing a mass shooting?
Or suicides, if they don't
Okay.
have to, if it's not in their contract. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so kind of like coming in the last crucial like moments to try to
Okay, their
change
mind.
things. Yep.
Okay, but you're not sitting there nudging people who are supposed to do a mass shooting by contract.
No, no.
Okay, I figured. So that's what you're doing. Can you ask Randy, okay, how they would like to be referred to, such as pronouns? I've seen a lot of people debate this online. So what gender pronouns did you
Um,
here too.
so I will say, and I wasn't paying attention, I just had him here, and I was focused on this life. But actually, when I tap in, this soul has a bit more feminine energy to me.
Okay.
So Eric has said this before, like, sometimes on the other side, like we're not really like whatever. If a soul's not come in or only come in once or twice, like kind of like angels don't always, to me, have like an obvious gender feel.
Yeah, right.
Like certain souls who come in incarnate, like if you incarnate a lot more as male than female, like to me your soul will feel more masculine. If
Yeah,
you incarnate a lot more as female than male, you'll feel feminine to me.
right.
So this Randy probably has had more lifetimes on Earth as a female
Okay.
than male because the energy does feel feminine to me.
All right. When you were in your human form, did you prefer to be he, her, or she, her, or he, him, or they?
um I get more they them vibe.
Okay. I bet. Yeah. Because of that split dissociative aspect.
Yeah,
Do you wish you'd gotten some help in your living form and
I
yeah.
feel like there was maybe some attempts at help or medication or something, but nothing was going to work.
Yeah, because of the contract.
Or yes, or there wasn't any consistency or real wanting of this. I do feel like there was possibly some mild intervention or something.
Okay. Did you watch a lot of the Channeling Eric YouTube or just one or two?
Um, quite a few.
So you binged it like a lot of people do.
Yeah, there's definitely quite a few.
Oh, wow. That,
It's funny because he's saying like at the time, again, it's like being on this fence of like some of it really resonating and then absolutely not believing. I don't know what the letter says necessarily. I did not read it.
okay.
But this feeling of like absolutely kind of believing it and being fascinated by it and then not like it's like this torn feeling, which
Mhm.
just is a theme in his life, just this torn apart by this belief and that belief, kind of being on opposite like polar ends. It's interesting.
Well, I should go ahead and read
Like,
the most significant points here. Here's Randy in his journal. I don't really believe in channeling spirits, but I'd love for someone to try and channel me after I'm dead. You know, like that channeling Eric channel, question mark. Message her and make it happen, guys. I'll have so much to say on the other side. Wow. So that's,
so, of course, that was written in the mind of what was going on now.
yeah,
Um, and now that he's back over there, of course he knows channeling spirits is possible.
of course.
But it's, just such the amnesia when we're here over things.
Yeah.
And so, he and Eric met pretty quickly when
I was
he
going to
got back
say, did
over
you
there.
meet Eric right away after
Yeah,
crossing? That was
yeah,
the
pretty
next point.
quick. Yeah.
So what was that whole exchange like?
Oh, it wasn't, Eric said he wasn't like there to meet him right away. It, so, time, if you want to think of it like a couple weeks later, think of it
Okay, right.
even terms. Yeah. Yep. And then I don't know how this letter got to you. But it just was
Somebody told me,
right.
I can't remember
Yeah.
who, but thank
Yeah.
you, whoever it was. I can't remember.
Yeah.
They emailed me. So,
Okay. So yeah, Eric says
no,
it
no,
was
they directed
time.
messaged me, I think through Instagram. I think that was it. Yeah. Now, you wrote in your journals that you hope we would channel your spirit on our YouTube channel. How do you feel about it now?
Well, this is good now. I'm still gonna refer to him as he because we're talking about
Yeah,
his
yeah, right.
life, who he was here.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's a good thing. I don't know that this, he says, I don't know that this will bring any kind of closure to any of the people who were affected by this.
Yeah.
Um, but this was also kind of part of it. So Eric's
Okay.
saying it was time.
Yeah.
Um, it's there's something about this piece of it that puts some closure on it for his soul, Randy's.
You mean us channeling him?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any final messages? I mean, you wanted us to channel you. This is
Thank
your
you.
time. Oh,
Yeah,
okay. You're
just
welcome.
thank you. Really, it's very interesting when I tap into the energy of his life. It just a lot of it played out exactly like it was supposed to.
Okay.
So this is a life that didn't have as much free will as I've seen other people's lives have.
Oh, I
There's
see.
a lot of the steps
Yeah.
that were always in the contract.
You want to say anything to the family and friends of the victims?
You know, his, because of the view that the people who are still here have
Yeah.
on it, it's so hard. Sorry isn't enough. It's not going to change anything or to make them feel any better.
Yeah.
Um, so that's really hard to give a message to them
Right.
because,
Contract, is that what you're saying?
right, yes. So sorry that the grief that people are experiencing, but it wasn't going to go any other way. But people who are here left behind, a lot of times we feel like with grief that it could have gone a different way. This didn't have to happen. This person, I don't know. I think that there was at least one very young person there, right? Did you say? I don't know if you've
Yeah,
read
I
the
don't know.
victims.
I'm not sure.
But so when you look at somebody passing young, it's like there's always this, oh, well, they could have, or maybe it was him that was so young, 24, I think you said. But
Yeah.
a lot of us think like, oh, well, they could have had this whole life and there was all this other stuff when there wasn't necessarily, with Eric, there wasn't
Mm-mm.
going to be kids and grandkids and this whole thing, but it's
Yeah.
easy for us to think that.
Yeah.
So sorry doesn't cover
Yeah.
any of this, so it's really hard for him to say anything to them that they would even maybe want to hear from him.
Okay.
There's still a lot of anger from
Yeah.
people towards
I can
him.
imagine. So anything else you want to say before we
Just
close?
thank you for your time. There had to have been a sweetness to his energy at one point. There really did. I don't really know anything about him, but there had to have been a sweet or funny or quirky kind of energy that got
It changed. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I mean, he was a very popular YouTuber, and I think they said he was funny. So that's interesting. Maybe I wonder if his YouTubes are, no, they're probably taken down now.
I don't have any idea.
Oh, I'm sure they're not there. So listen, thank you, Randy, for sticking around and for enlightening us as to your journey, etc. Thank you, Eric, for helping Jennifer survive this. But
Yeah.
and thank you very much. And thank you to all the viewers. Y'all subscribe and hit the notification bell. But I do want to ask you another question, Jennifer.
Yeah.
The other day, yesterday, I wanted a scout. I was working and I wanted them to come back in. They were in the backyard, all the dogs except for Bella. And the black and white miniature Aussie just wouldn't come. We couldn't find her. Anyway, eventually she came from behind my shed where I do my work. And I said, "What's over there that prevented her?" There was a dead squirrel. I mean, a squirrel and she was obviously gnawing on its head because most of it was gone. Did she kill it? Because she's pretty fast, or did she just find it already dead?
Um, nah, she got it.
I knew it. I used my dowsing
Yeah.
to check it out, but a little shit.
Yes,
Oh,
she
that's
got it.
sad.
It is the animals, it is their nature, it's
I
their
know it's
instincts.
nature, but
So
I
it's
mean, ooh, I hope she didn't eat the
yes.
chicken. Anyway, she's all caught up on her vaccinations, so she's gonna be fine.
Yeah. And also Eric said she's been a cat in multiple lifetimes.
Really?
So that instinct to hunt like that, yeah. So
Okay, because the other ones are not like that at all.
yeah, no, she's been a cat multiple lifetimes. So
Cool.
that instinct to hunt, and she's really
Interesting.
very fast, like a more fast like a cat to me.
Yeah, and
Do you have any other cat behaviors?
kind of nervous when rain and all that stuff. Maybe I don't know. I don't know much about cats. We've had them, but they were always belonging to one of the kids, so they took care of them. But all right, that sounds interesting. I'll tell Lucas. It's just
Yeah.
naughty dog. All right,
Yes.
thank you very much, Jennifer.
Yes, thank you.
Tuscany's
Take care.
coming, baby. Yeah,
Yes, that's so
can't
exciting.
wait. All right,
Yeah.
thank you.
Bye.
Bye.